Hello everybody, I'm George from Monde Guitars. And today I have a special guest with me.
I love the idea of the camera being on me and just like locking up, like doing all the talk before, and then when the camera's on, just...
We'll zoom in on that part.
It's funny because I've done, geez, let me think. What year is it? It's 2019. It's May 2019. I've been doing the video stuff for just over 9 years now, which is crazy to think that. But I guess that's kind of what you have to do as an independent musician these days. You get an independent music store. You're doing the thing. You got to do it, right?
Of course.
That's how you get the message out there. But anyways, my name is Nick Johnston. It's my first time in your lovely Garden State.
We're happy to have you.
Very happy to be here for tonight's clinic. What does Beau Monde mean for all the listeners, watchers out there?
It means beautiful world in French.
Indeed it does, yes.
Do
you agree it is a beautiful world?
Of course it is.
There you go.
We have a few questions here for you, just some normal stuff. I want you to talk to me a little bit about your guitar.
Sure.
So what do we have going on here?
Well, let's talk about this guy real first. That was the first version. I guess you guys don't have the green one yet, but...
On its way.
Okay, so this one's, I guess it's meant, yeah, we'll talk briefly. It's the first Diamond series based off the first USA guitar, which then morphed into this, which then morphed into the newest version of this, which I assume will be here this
very
summer?
shortly.
Very shortly. Anyway, so let's talk about this guy, because this is the one I mainly play now. So first of all, as you can tell, this is based off a Les Paul. If you didn't notice. I've been playing, let's just call them S-type guitars for a very long time. Pretty much my whole life as a guitar player since I was 14. Wow. 31 now. 32 in June. Getting older. And this was, I mean, there's a long, I'll tell it during the clinic, but there's a long story how I started playing these guitars. But basically, the Schecter Custom Shop was kind of rebooting at the time when I came on, and they basically wanted a guy whose career was kind of like in line with where they were. Sorry, if I could get any lower to the floor, I would. But we were just kind of coming up together. So it was a really good time for both of us. And then this is the newest version. I think it's the silver, green, white. This guy, fourth version. The biggest new difference is there's a few, but the biggest one is it's a nitro spray guitar. You know, the emissions laws for that in the state of California are pretty strict, but Schecter just recently got the license, so to speak, to spray with nitro in their California custom shop, which is in Sun Valley. Beautiful Sun Valley. With a name like that, you expect it to be anyways. You can't see it from this angle, but maybe if you go online and have a look, you can see the checking in the paint, and it's got more of like a matte finish. You know, it's the nitro, it's a spray, so you're going to actually be able to wear your paint away, which I love personally.
It's a character.
And in fact, I wish I had that, lack of a better term, alien sweat, the corrosive sweat, where I could burn. If I had that, like I know Loomis, when he was playing a lot of the Schecter stuff, he'd go through the paint because he has that gross sweat, right? But I don't have it. So that's a cool feature. It's got new pickups in it. Analytical 3, it's using this Formvar wiring, which is a very rare leftover stock that we got from the Big F. You can make your assumptions what company that is. And they're made specifically, or used specifically for my pickups now, which is really cool. And
it's more like a humbucker?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. It's actually a lower output single coil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it's just the material used between the magnet and the wire and the bobbin, like how it's all, like the resistance, how it's all put together. It's a very specific material. So
okay.
You can look into that if you want. But it's an Analytical 3, voiced 10 different ones or something like that, and we came up with these. They're new for this model. And it's not an all rosewood neck. A lot of people think, oh, rosewood, I love rosewood. Just not a scrap of rosewood because of the laws. We wanted to, the CITES laws and boring stuff for you know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Wenge and ebony is the wood here. And it's beautiful. You heard it earlier.
It's awesome. I've noticed that you prefer the circular inlays on the board instead of the traditional dots. Is there a reason for that? Can you just see them a little bit better?
Nope. They just look really cool.
Okay.
In fact, some people go, Nick, you must hear something cool sonically with the wenge, right? No, it just looks really cool. That's literally it.
We can respect that.
Yeah. So there's no reason why I wear a leather jacket. It's not warmer. I just think I like the way I look in it.
So
real here.
Do we have anything over the horizon for the new Schecter models for you, or anything in store?
I don't want to say too much about that. But yes, there will be, if the trend continues, there'll be new versions of both.
Okay. And your guitar also has locking tuners?
Indeed. Locking tuners, the Graphtec nut. In fact, if you look at this version, you can see it's kind of, they're like worn.
Yeah.
In the bridge. All the, actually, it's pretty funny. All the hardware on this guitar, this model, because of the more vintage look, Schecter's been putting them in an old jewelry tumbler and just spinning them.
Okay.
So they look damaged. They look older. They look nicked up.
That's pretty awesome.
Just adds to the aesthetic of that vintage look, you know?
Talking about the guitar a little bit more, I noticed that when you play, you know, you don't traditionally hit the whammy bar.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so explain to me a little bit about that, you know, how you go about that.
You know what I'll do first, though, before we change? Maybe I'll show what these pickups sound like. I can do each one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going into this Mark V from Boogie. And this, did they have a name for this color?
It's I actually designed this to be called the Stormtrooper.
Oh, man.
It is
of course.
white Croco, not real croc. Please don't send me any hate mail. But yeah.
It's not real croc?
No, it's not.
I don't want it then. I only like certified organic real croc on my amplifiers. Stormtrooper. I like that.
Right? It's pretty cool.
But it hit, what do people say about the Stormtroopers? They can never hit their target or something like that. Hopefully this one hits the mark.
Oh, it definitely.
Oh, come on, that's funny. Mark V hit. Anyways, okay. So, anyways, here's the neck pickup on these new guys here. It's an expensive chord. Okay. These two hanging out together. So it's got more of that canceled sound, that quackiness to it. How to ruin anything is by playing a major chord at the end in a minor key. You know, playing in B minor. Just like
it sounds fine to me.
To me, it's very it has a sense of comedy to it, especially while trying to play all dark and tense, and then at the very end. Okay, middle pickup. Let's try a different key. A key of E minor with a major 7 in it. And these two together? Way quieter, in fact. Quite, you know, when that's cranked and there's more gain, it's oh man. Ooh. But that's the price you pay for real 60-cycle hum pickups. Anyways. I don't typically use this one very much. There's the major chord at the end. Okay, and finally the back pickup, which has got more bite to it, of course. Trying to get a little pinch in there. Yeah, so they sound pretty cool.
Sounds awesome.
You know, even with like pretty low gain, they each have enough character to differentiate. Okay, moving on. So I did claw at the bar a little bit, or at the bridge a little bit during all of that. The reason I do that, it's not to, let me think, let me get that out of the way. It's not like, oh, I want to be interesting or unique. I used to use the bar so much when I was a kid. A friend said to me that I used to play with, he said, you sound terrible. In fact, for everything. Like it'd be, you know, bow, like everything. Like,
okay.
I was a big Eddie Van Halen fan. Anyways, so I sold that guitar and I bought a Telecaster, which is the opposite of that guitar in every way. It's like a 2x4 with pickups in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
A canoe paddle. And I relearned how to play. This is where I got like the hybrid picking stuff. But then I saw a friend of mine playing a Strat, and he just basically went like this. I noticed he was pitch shifting without a bar, and I was like, that's the happy medium, you know. And the way I do it is just like a little subtle touch. And it's one of those things where I don't really know how to explain it until I'm not thinking about it. You know, it could be something as simple as little touches, you know.
That sounds great.
Sounds okay, yeah, and it's just me putting my, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just putting my hand under there. And it's not really floating that much. In fact, if I went,
Okay,
I don't even know if it's a half step. I don't know what it is, but it's not much.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's definitely specific to your style.
I've seen a few other people, I think I've seen a few people do it, but it just works. And at this point, I prefer it over the bar because I'm just so comfortable doing it. It's just like a reactionary thing. I go to play a note and it's there. I know the distance. I know how heavy the guitar is. I know where it is, where the bridge is set, at least on this model.
You know what you're going to get out of it.
Usually.
What are some of your influences? I know you've mentioned a few in the past in some of the videos I've seen, but if you could pick like one or two.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a big... I like the Eddie Van Halen. Not for the obvious... Like, I wasn't a huge fan of much after the first few records. I just like how ballsy he was, like how seemingly, like, I mean, he obviously did, but seemingly how much he didn't really care about being perfect. I love spur of the moment stuff and not being flawless. You know, Jeff Beck is a great example of that. I don't even know if he practices. He's just working on cars all day. But when you hear him play guitar, it's just like, oh my God, man. How does he do it? Yeah, guys like that. Jeff, I feel like a child saying I have a favorite guitar player because I don't think I have a favorite guitar player. I just really like what he does.
Okay.
You know, everything he does is different too. Usually every record has a different sound and different feel. And he just kind of does, which is awesome, what he wants. It's like, screw, you know, the music industry. It's like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put out two, he did like those two techno-ish kind of records. It's like, okay, you go from doing this, you know, rock thing to this rockabilly thing to these techno records and this thing with an orchestra and then this Last record he did, Loud Hailer or something like that. I forget what it's called. Totally different vibe.
Yeah.
I back it. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with Mesa Boogie amplifiers?
My relationship with them. They basically... I mean, it's not too... It's nothing like this, my relationship with Schecter. They're just really good to me. They just help me with backline if I'm touring.
What amps do you prefer from them?
I've only used to be honest, I don't know much about the extended line. I'd like to try more, but I've really only used the Mark V, which just sounds pretty cool. The TC stuff. I was doing a lot of video and stuff for them on that amp a couple years ago. And then what am I using tonight? Lone Star.
The Lone Star.
I don't know if I've used much else. I think, oh no, I like the, was it the Vibroverb? Or Rectoverb or something like that? Rectoverb. Yeah. Man, that thing is sweet. I need to get one of those actually. Yeah, that's a great amp. Do you guys have one of those?
No, Harry owns one.
He owns one. That's a great amp, man. That might be my favorite amp from them, now that I think about it.
Yeah, they do make a lot of awesome stuff.
So they're just really nice to me, and they help out if I'm doing a tour or something. They usually get the distribution or the infrastructure for me pretty sorted. It's good.
Let's talk about what you brought with you today. So let's talk about some of the pedals that you have on the floor today. I noticed you're not really running too much. You just
an EVH distortion pedal and the new. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that, but there's a new carbon copy pedal coming out.
I saw it. Looks awesome.
It's a little tiny. It's a little cute little thing, and just those two things. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a reverb there if I want to. Depends on how I. The reason I bring the reverb with me is because typically, if I hate to say this, but a lot of times the backline, they don't check if the verb is actually...
The verb works.
I did this gig... Oh, man, I was so frustrated. I did this gig in Hollywood a couple weeks ago, and I was... You guys know Virgil Donati, that drummer? And it doesn't matter. I was playing a gig with this really great drummer, and it was like the release show for my new album, and I go up and play it, and I'm like, yeah, this amp's great. So reverb channel just does not work. This happened a bunch of times. Like, no, everything was so perfect. So I had to go out and find a reverb pedal. But now I just take one with me everywhere in case that happens.
Just in case, right?
So I have that with me, and then I have on the floor too a little fuzz pedal. But I don't know, it's new for me, so I think it's overkill. I had it on during a couple songs. It was just like, holy crap.
Oh, you stacked the two together?
Man, it was too much.
Okay.
It was dangerous. Yeah, but very fun.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and then I think that's it, right? There's nothing else out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are some of the tones on the last record? Like, what were you using? I know you were saying to us before that you like to experiment and try a lot of different things when you're going to record, but if there's like one main piece of gear, you know, that you're just like, oh, I gotta put that on the record.
No, I don't have anything like that. No, I just take this guitar with me. I worked with an engineer on that last one. Again, same engineer that did Remarkably Human. And he, just to get one, I think like our lead sound was 3 or 4 different amps stacked together.
Oh, wow,
and I think 6 or 7 mics he used. Oh, wow. So his thing is, and it's pretty cool, I never thought of it this way, but his thing is, instead of using an EQ on the board, you just get the mic selection, so each mic is covering a certain frequency range. So I'm like, I want more top, and then he'd pull that mic up a bit more. Like, oh, that's too mid, he'd pull that one down. And then there's like a room mic too, so you get a bit more space. I was like, damn, that's a cool idea. And I guess that's, for me, thinking that's actually how it's normally done. Like these guys who know what they're doing typically are doing that. You know, they're building tones. I think there was a Boogie, there was an old Marshall, I think there was a Dr. Z. To be honest with you, it was like 5 days of just recording, so it's all...
It's a blur, right?
He sourced it all. Yeah, he brought it all in. Scott, shout out to my friend Scott. And yeah, usually I just take the guitar with me, and I just use whatever the studio has. All their outboard gear, it's great. I don't know anything about that stuff. I just listen. Does it sound good? It sounds pretty good. Okay.
That's the best way to do it.
I think so, yeah.
Another question I had for you that actually one of your fans asked me to ask you was they've noticed a lot of other orchestrations on your records, like piano and some other stuff. Do you write that? How does that How does that work?
Oh
usually?
yeah, that's a good question. I do write all of that. Yes, I play piano terribly. The way I play piano would be the easiest way I can relate that to how I play piano is if you picture your father on like a BlackBerry trying to find the N or like the D, like.
He's gonna look for it really hard. Right?
Yeah, I think like I can play, like I can fumble through stuff. I write a lot, and the reason I do that is because if I write with a guitar, I find I fall back on a lot of stuff I'm comfortable with. So I take away all technique and all familiarity. At a piano, I have to just use my ear, and I mean I know the theory, but I have to use more melodic, like more harmony approach than technique approach.
Okay.
But what I do is I'll take those ideas. I won't play the final versions of those things on the record. I usually hire, once I have everything done, I'll send demos to a guy I work with, and he's an actual piano player and a keyboard player, and he makes those ideas sound much, much more, I guess, developed, much more like a professional is playing them. I don't think I'm at a point where I would play on my record with keyboards yet. Plus, getting some of the sounds, I just don't have enough. I haven't put enough money into my sound library. Like some of these guys have,
Hundreds
$30,000,
of sounds,
$40,000, $50,000 worth of sounds. It's like some of those plugins and some of the gear, some analog synths, some Eric used on a lot of the new album. He used an electric piano, like a real old Fender, like Rhodes or something, with a couple dirty old pedals he had, like running them in and reversing stuff. I don't have enough bandwidth for that in my mind. I just play the guitar and I write this stuff. So yeah, it's all me. It's just I don't know how to play that instrument on a professional level. Okay. So I let somebody else do it.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Same way as I don't play bass on the record, or I can do this. I don't play drums on the record.
Can you talk about what like practice technique you can recommend or warm up routine to intermediate and experienced guitar players?
Sure. So I've never had a warm-up routine or a practice regimen. What I would recommend is finding somebody to play with, a really close friend you can jam with. Here's the thing, like you're gonna have to spend decades of your life practicing. You have to find a way for you to personally make that fun. Don't rely on a warm-up regimen or a interview you read in a magazine or a video or someone talking about theirs. Find your own. That's the first thing. Find what you find exciting about playing guitar, because it's a pain in the ass sometimes. You don't want to do it, but you have to do it. It's the only way you get good. And then, more importantly than all that, is when you're at a point where you feel comfortable with the instrument, is you go out and play live and you get your ass handed to you and you get humbled and you get sent back to square one as many times as you possibly can, because that's really how you learn. It's really the only way to grow. Consider, I don't want to get too rambly here, but how everyone's like on Instagram promoting themselves on videos, and that's great, because I do it too. But just remember, how do I phrase this? You don't ever fail in your bedroom. The video you see of a guy is not his first video. It's his 20th, or 30th, or 40th, or 50th. Go ahead and play live. I guess that would be the biggest thing. And if you can't find a place to play live, who said it's supposed to be easy? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out. That's my advice.
Is there anything you'd like to add, or any upcoming dates where everybody could see you? Or?
No, not really. Just if you're following me on Instagram, I post everything there.
All right, awesome.
It'll all be there. Just type my name into Google, and you'll get a slew of links. We all have that now, don't we? Oh my God.
Well, it was a pleasure having you. I can't wait to see you play.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Everybody, please hit like, subscribe, leave comments down below. And if you want to get your hands on some of these Nick Johnston guitars, please give us a call. Hopefully, Nick, can we get you to sign this one?
Of course not. No, of course.
Awesome. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Peace.